I broke out the gas welding equipment today and I've used it for something to take a look at in a minute. I can't say that I would take anybody's money professing to be a welder, but I can do a reasonably good job sometimes of sticking pieces of metal together, and this came about today after a ride out on my Greenlaner Bullet. The day before yesterday I had to go on an errand, and I went into Llandovery, flicked it onto its prop stand, and just as I was walking away I heard this crash, and this thing was on its side in the car park, and the bolt holding the prop stand on had come part way undone, enough for the weight of the bike to go on the shank of the bolt and bend the bolt, and the whole lot collapsed and fell over. I went into the shop, got what I wanted, and thought I'd deal with the prop stand when I came out, and I thought I'd wangled it back into place. I hadn't really realised the bolt had bent at that point. Set off, and then there was all this horrible clattering and rattling and something snagging on the road and jolting the bike around, and it was the prop stand swinging merrily between the tarmac and the rear wheel. So I managed to force it round and get it up over the footrest, believe it or not, and bring it round and jam it there, and I rode home on it. But I ordered a new bolt from Hitchcock's, which came, and a spring because that was damaged. But because I've got non-standard Royal Enfield forks on it that are a bit longer than this machine would have had originally, plus a 21-inch front wheel instead of a 19, plus longer rear shocks than it would have had, the lean on that prop stand has been an astronomical sort of angle, and I've never really been happy with it. I often put a brick under the foot of it out here to get the machine more upright, but that little event the other day made me realise I had to do something about it. So this is what I've done, and it might look a little bit ugly, not everyone will like this perhaps, but I thought of cutting the stand and sleeving it with a piece of heavy wall tube, but the problem with that is the solid shank of the prop stand is actually tapered, so you'd only get a good fit in one place if you try to sleeve it with tube, so that's not great. The other thing was, I thought, well, if I cut it and sleeved it and it didn't work, I've ruined the prop stand. So what I decided to do was leave it alone in its entirety. There's the disc, the original disc on the end of it. There's a spike that protrudes about another 3/4 of an inch. All of that is still there, and what I decided I would do was gas weld a piece of heavy wall tube on, and I also welded this bit of plate on as a foot. Now, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, I know, and some off-roaders will probably be screaming, that's going to catch all sorts of things and whatever. Well, I don't think it will actually, on the sort of rough terrain that I take it on. I'm not going to be doing an ISDT or anything with it, but let's swing the prop stand out now and have a look what sort of angle of lean we've got. Much more respectable, I think. And also, this plate that I welded on will just help us out a little bit when we're off-road and perhaps parking up on grassy banks or whatever. This will give us a little bit more sort of area for the weight of the machine to rest on, and perhaps it'd be less likely to try and sink and lean over and fall over. And if at any time in the future, not that I think I'm going to want to, but if I want to put it all back as it was to an undamaged original stand, all I've got to do is heat that up there, melt the braze, get that out of the way, and the stand is all back as it was and ready to tip the bike over in a car park once again. So I think that's a worthwhile job I've done on one of my own machines for a change.